going to do then is we'll go live on YouTube, and then I'll send the YouTube link into the Facebook group and I'll pin it to the top. So if anyone's looking to find us, we'll be on YouTube. What we'll do then is we'll go live on YouTube, and then I'll send the YouTube link into the Facebook. There we go. Yeah. So we're live right now, guys. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just send this link over to everybody that's in the Facebook group. Please, again, feel free to talk amongst yourselves while I do this, all right? So don't start talking about the football, no matter what you do. Do not talk about it.
That's a typical conversation starter.
That's what the new small talk is not about the weather anymore.
That's about football.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Everyone pretend you can't hear him. Speak louder, Pinder.
I am. I just find this stuff kind of weird, right? Like, talking to someone on the screen and stuff, right?
Through video.
I still can't get my head around it.
I'm just to be fair. No, I'm not the weirdo with just a brand sticking out my bug. You got fishes coming around your head, mate.
Yeah, I got fishes going through my head, through my ears.
I can tell I'm going to zone out in about half an hour and just watch the fish go into a piece of head.
Guys, you know what? We had a bit of a rough start there with the tech, but we're all up and live and running. So I have no idea if anyone's going to be able to tune in just yet, but hopefully that Facebook message has just gone out now. So I'm guessing there's going to be a few people that will see it and hopefully join the YouTube link and then ask us questions as we go through. If there's anyone messaging you right now for where to find us, let me just shoot you a message on WhatsApp. Yes. That's where we are. Okay, that's the WhatsApp. That's their link for finding us right now. Okay.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Cool. Shall we start? I think it's a good time to start. We've had all that lovely preamble talk. We've talked about the football. We've talked about Adeep's home gym. And now I think we're good to go. Look, today isn't about me. So today I've brought you guys together because I just feel that it's easy for me to go around telling people what to do. So it's easy for me to say, well, this is the optimal way to do things for your health and your well-being and your fitness. And it's kind of like, it's part of who I am. I mean, I've been doing this for over 12 years. This is what I've been educated in. This is what I went to university for. This is what I've studied for my whole life. Every single day is about learning and progressing and growing and understanding this subject. But you guys are not nutritionists. You guys are not personal trainers. You guys are not coaches. You guys are real people that have achieved incredible success within your own journeys. And I'm not saying that lightly. Like, as we go around and we start talking, you probably get to know these guys a little bit more deeply. But the amount of challenges that you've overcome in this journey, the success that you've achieved, where that success has showed up in your life, like, that's what I want people to really understand today. And at the end of this, I'm hoping anybody that's listening in will get a flavor for where they can start in their own journey. Because you guys are all at one point had doubt about whether you'd be successful, had doubt whether you'd be sitting here today, had doubt whether you'd have even progressed to even half of what you achieved. Yeah, there's similar. I think when I first posted your transformation, I posted it that this guy almost gave up within a month. Yeah. And it's real. It's just real talk. Yeah. And these are the things that I want to share today, because there's other people that start their journey. They get a week or two into it and then it's done because they don't understand where to look out for progress, where the success is, and how to make the relevant changes. So I promise I will probably shut up at some point and then get you guys to introduce yourself. In fact, it's probably the perfect time right now. We don't need to go into too much detail around your success just yet, but guys, could you just give me a bit of a flavor for like who you are, what you do? I'll pick on you, otherwise you're going to all talk over yourself, or none of you will talk. Sim, you're right at the top of my screen. So I'm going to go with you first, bro. Could you just give everyone a bit of an intro in terms of like who you are, what you do, and what you're all about, man?
Okay, so I'm Simran. I'm 29. This sounds like a take me out little starter. I'm Simran, 29. I'm a property developer in Reading, and I've been working with you for about a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, nothing really else to add. Don't no kids or anything. Got a couple of dogs. Keep me busy. That's about it, really.
That's it. I'm sure there's more to it than that, but I'll leave it there for now. In terms of, so a property developer, if you don't mind me asking, what does that mean? What does that entail? Is it easy work?
Property management, property development, long hours, stressful, hard job, but has its perks. Get to play golf every now and then, but it's stressful. Can be very, very stressful. Draining, early mornings, late nights, a lot of weekends and stuff. But you know, it has its perks. I suppose it's kind of that self-employed thing, you know, where you don't really have a shut off or like a time where you just sort of switch off. It's kind of all hours. Yeah. But, you know, it's fun. It's fun, but yeah, it can be stressful.
I think it is important for people to hear that, because for some people, property development just means, you know, or they might just think you're a landlord, so you just sit there and count your money at the end of every month. There's so much more to it than that, and I think that's important to just recognize that you didn't come into this journey, you know, with it being easy and plain sailing. There was a lot of things that we had to overcome right at the very start. Chaz, you're directly beneath Simran on my screen right now, so Chaz, please give me a bit of an insight in terms of who you are.
Yeah. So yeah, Chaz, not quite 40 yet, contrary to your post, but not too far off. So 38 years old at the moment. So I live like Maidenhead Way, so down Berkshire Way, not too far from where Simran and Orpi are. And yeah, I think I reached out to you. When was it? Early last year, just before all the lockdown and all the rest of it. And yeah, it was just like, I think I explained to you then, like I'd been on like my own kind of fat loss journey, whatever, like starting about 2015, and I progressed relatively well. And you know, I felt as though I had learned enough, and you know, I think I did, but I just wasn't applying it in the correct way, and I found myself slipping backwards and slipping fast. And I was thinking, man, look, this is not going to end well for me if I carry on as I am. So that's when I reached out to you. We had the initial call, and that was just you just trying to understand what my motivations are, why I want to, you know, go back onto this journey. What does it mean to me? Where it's going? Where is it going to put this? You know, how are these changes going to have an improvement in my quality of life, type of thing, before we even started discussing a plan, as in like which weight you want to get to and all the rest of it. And yeah, I think I said to you at the time, look, I just want to live a life where of health and vitality, you know, try to stay disease free as much as I can, like off any kind of pharmaceuticals wherever I can help it, and just to be the best version of myself, really. And yeah, so here I am. What is this now? 15 months later. Come a long way since then. So I have been working from home. So my job is all desk based. So I do consultancy. Nothing exciting, but you know, it's, you know, grateful to have stayed in a job throughout. But you know, it's desk-based, it's up against deadlines, it is high pressure. I lead a team as well, so I have to make sure that they're delivering and managing all of that around training and giving myself the right nutrition and making sure I've got a good space in my head as well, type of thing. So yeah, that's...
Yeah, do you know what? There's going to be, in fact, when we start talking about what you've achieved in this journey, I think we'll probably actually touch upon that a little bit more, especially around, like, again, the education that you've brought to your life, the additional courses that you're doing, the further development, personal development that you've been working on. Because again, I don't think you'd be here doing that now today had you not made that real life-changing choice in January 2020. Because
definitely not.
We spoke then, but
definitely not.
To get into that.
Yeah, and I think this is something that we've discussed. It's not just the physical transformation and the numbers are the externals. It's way deeper than that, as I'm sure a lot of these guys can attest to.
Don't scare people away just yet, bro. Don't scare people. Hardy, again, next to Chaz here. So Hardy, give us a bit of an insight, man.
My name's Hardy. I'm 28 years old, from Birmingham. I'm currently a finance manager working in the waste management industry. manage a team of myself and 4 others. Obviously, strict deadlines and stuff, month end, year end. It's always crazy with the long hours. I've been married for about 4 years to Pam, and I've got a little boy who's 2 years old.
Amazing, man. Bro, every time you say waste management, I'm just thinking Sopranos.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as well.
Honestly, the first time they took me on a site, I was like, this just looks like one of those films.
Yeah, man. Every time you say it, because again, I know you, we've been working together for a while, but just, yeah, it just puts that whole Sopranos image into my mind, man. But okay, so you've been married for 4 years, you've got a little one, that's amazing. And I think we were talking earlier, you're progressively kind of educating yourself more.
Yeah.
And you've
So
got
currently, when I started off with you, I started off in December 20,
Yeah.
and I was part qualified then, part qualified accountant, and now I've reached the stage where I'm on my final exam. So in June, with my final exam, I can't wait to get it done with.
Yeah, right. I know you're going to be looking forward to that, but I also know that you're going to be setting yourself a next challenge as soon as that's finished. Apinda, last but not least, we'd love to hear a bit more about yourself.
Well, yeah. So I'm Upinder Kaushal, or many of you know me as OP. Yeah, that's my name. I live in Reading, like Simran. Run a jewelry business, family business. Been doing that for the last sort of 20 years. I live with my family, my wife, got 2 kids, 12-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son. And my parents as well, mum and dad as well. So got a pet dog, Simba. So yeah, that's basically my background as to speak. I'm 44 years old now. I think I've been with you about 4 years now.
Yeah.
Almost, I think, yeah. Just or close to 4 years anyway. And like Chaz as well, I mean, started my journey with Juggy based on, you know, like certain underlying sort of health issues that were emerging. And because, you know, I hadn't trained in years and stuff, and, you know, tried a lot of things myself, crash dieting, you know, I thought I knew how to train and stuff, but, you know, nothing was working out. I approached Juggy actually earlier, and, you know, I thought I could do it myself. But again, you know, lost a bit of weight, gained it back. So I thought, okay, let me call this guy. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Pinda's fairly famous being OP Fit at 40 on Instagram. If anyone wants to go check that out. It's a really, bro, your Instagram is crazy in terms of inspiration. Like, not only are you training, but also I see little man going on those monkey bars, training every single day as well.
Yeah. That it just goes to show, you know, like whatever you do, you know, the kids will just follow suit. You know, you know, this is one saying something. You know, it's another thing doing something, and you know, where they feel inspired. And it's not just the kids; it's, you know, like your mum, dad, for example, as well. I mean, since I've started my journey, you know, like. Your whole environment, you know, around you, you know, your parents initially, they're like, oh, what are you doing? But, you know, when they see the changes and what it's done for me, they're like, oh, hang on, you know, maybe we should be eating this and that. So, you know, even they've lost weight and stuff because of me.
Change the culture in the house, don't you? It's not just your journey, it then becomes our journey.
Yeah. So, and, you know, I've been lucky enough because everyone's so, you know, from the beginning, everyone was so understanding with regards to the journey, which is really, I feel, was really important. You know, when I sat everyone down and said, look, you know, this is the reason I'm doing it, and I need your support here. So, you know, in terms of, you know, you've seen Shalu, you know, she's prepped my food from day one. And I've had so much support from her, even mum and dad as well, in terms of, you know, like, bringing stuff home, because, you know, they go do shopping and stuff, so they make it a point to bring, like, you know, more healthy stuff, and you know, they hide the good stuff, you know, away from me. So that's it. But, you know, it's got to be you know, you need that support bubble, you know, around you, and if you got that, I think that was key for me anyway at the beginning. But yeah, I mean, now, you know, going back to the Insta side of things, you know, it's amazing just seeing, getting these messages from people that I don't know, you know, halfway across the globe and stuff, saying, oh, I've been inspired by your journey and stuff, and how do you do this and stuff, and just giving them initial advice, and a couple of months down the line, getting feedback from them saying, oh, what you said, I implemented that. I've lost so much weight and stuff. It's just a good feeling, that your journey is now inspiring, so many others, not just locally, just, as far off as Australia, for example,
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'd say with that as well, like, during this journey, and again, I think would be good for people to hear is like, where are you guys right now compared to where you started? Because I think that'd be really powerful. But what you've just said there as well is the only reason you know how to help these people is you took the education on board. So when you've been going through this process yourself, it wasn't just a case of just following something blindly. It was about actually understanding what you were doing and why you were doing it to get to the point that you can actually help other people around you. And I think that in itself has got its own unique power. But I think we'll touch upon that a little more. But you know what, guys? I think people are listening and they've heard you guys. They've heard where you are right now, probably the work that you do, and they understand where your kind of life situations are, family-wise, pets-wise. Pets probably is very, very important up there.
Yeah.
Tell me what you've achieved. Let's go around. Let's actually see what you guys have achieved. I build this as you guys, between you, have lost over 100 kg. And I know that. Yeah, that's crazy, Simran. I just saw your face, man. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But let's talk about the physicals first. Let's talk about the physical changes that you saw, and then we'll talk about where it showed up in your life, because I think that's more important than the physical. But people want to know that. But Simran, let's go with you, man. Where were you when you first started? Do you remember your data? I know I shot your first picture over to you the other day, and that was a bit of a shock moment.
I looked at it the other day. So I started, I think I'd pre-started with the LIA, maybe 6 months before. So I think I was 110 then, dropped about 10 kilos. Then I'd fallen off, bounced back, and carried on eating KFC. And then I started properly, and I was 100 kilos. And now I am 77, I think, 77 point something. So about 23 kg down. And I was looking at this the other day because Andy mentioned it, 20 centimeters down on my waist.
That's just madness, man. That's absolute madness. Especially when we say in the Asian community, the waist measurement is literally the direct kind of correlation towards, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, fatty liver, all of these things that are so synonymous with our health and well-being. 20 centimeters off is just nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But that's really powerful, man. And Chaz, how about yourself? You got your data to hand?
Yeah. So no, I started off when I started with you, I was about 103, 106 kg, call it 105. Let's just say, it was about there. So I was 105, and it's now at 73, 74 kg. So about a 30 kg loss. Chest was at 48 inches. So it's now at 40 inches. Waist was at around about 45 inches, and it's now at 34 inches. Neck as well is now down to, I think it's about 16 and a half. And it was 18 at that time. And as silly as it sounds, apparently me and my brothers have really thick legs. Don't know why. But either way, anyway. But that's the physical, some of the physiological. So resting heart rate came down from 80 something to 55. So down to a really good level. I'll let you go into the detail of that. Blood pressure was, I think, as well, was kind of top end of the normal range, or just outside. So it's now within that range as well. I haven't had my cholesterol checked recently. That was high, but it did come down gradually. But as we've been doing our weekly check-ins, I think the blood glucose came from about 6 point something down to 4 point, mid 4 points something, there or thereabouts. So that's what that looked like in numbers.
But by the way, just for anyone listening to, especially data around resting heart rate, so there's a lot of data to suggest around 62 and below is an ideal position for males. Usually for females, you would expect a little bit lower than that. So just something to be aware of. If you're sitting above that 62 sort of range, that is the number one priority. Forget your weight, forget the numbers of your waist measurements and all that sort of stuff. get your heart healthy first, because if your heart's not healthy, yeah, there's dangerous consequences to that over the long term. But yeah, a lot of the metrics there are just, you know, when you say it out loud and then you actually think about what those clothes would look like,
Yeah.
that must be insane. When have you had your clear out yet?
Yeah, I've had the clear out, and I think we had this conversation. It kind of felt like I was wearing my dad's clothes. that's the analogy that we use, and it did feel like that. And even some of the other clothes that I had bought that which wouldn't have normally fit me, do fit me. Like, at the moment I'm at the leanest and lightest I've ever been, and you truly don't realize how much you have lost in weight until you pick it up.
Yeah.
As I'm sure these guys will attest to as well.
It must have been interesting to have lost all of that weight during lockdown, because you wouldn't have been getting into your work clothes and going to the offices and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that must have been really interesting when you're like, finally, I need to put something smart on, and then suddenly it's not going to fit you no more.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Like when first lockdown restriction eased up, bought a couple of pair of jeans and all that sort of stuff, just because I had nothing to wear.
That's mad. How about yourself, bro?
Yeah, so I started off weighing around about 115 and currently weigh 87. So that's near enough 28 kg drop. And this is probably the lightest I've been since, probably I was about 18. And my hips were 44. They've now dropped to 34. So 10 inches down. So I'm absolutely buzzing about that. I can start fitting into some new clothes that I've recently bought. Nobody tells you the expense of adding another wardrobe.
Look, we don't take any responsibility for that. We take no liability for the new wardrobes needed.
You know what? It feels good buying new clothes. Obviously, at the time when I was a waist 44, trying to get a pair of jeans in public, I was ashamed. But now, you know what? It feels so good. Buying yourself and rewarding yourself on this journey. My blood pressure was, it was high. That's dropped quite good. My resting heart rates are now, 49, 48. So that's even better. And I was like on the border of being diabetic, and having the tablets. Now, it's all under control. So it's just great how much this journey has helped me, not just on the scales, but actually my health as well.
But this is it. I think that was actually one of your drivers. In fact, when you got that diagnosis, that pre-diabetes in your 20s, and you're like, where do you go from there? Like,
and you hit the nail on your head. Obviously, waste is so key to your underlying factors as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think we hear about this enough. Like, I don't think people are aware enough about the risks that are entailed with holding a bit more body fat. I know there's a bit of we tend to laugh and joke about these things, like, oh, we'll put a bit of timber on, put a bit of weight on. I've got the lockdown weight and all that sort of stuff. But it's serious. Like, it's serious. The moment you get onto medication, you're going to go on a cascade of other medications as well.
It just seems like a norm, because in my whole family, it's like my dad, he's diabetic, my sisters are diabetic, my brother's diabetic, my granddad was diabetic. So it's like, it was just normal. And for me to be borderline, I was like, you know what, it just runs in my family, and just brush it off that way. But actually, you can change the culture, you can change the traditions, you can change the norm. And that's one thing I learned from this journey.
That's fine. There's a really cool quote where it says, like, the genetics are the gun, right? And then the environment's the trigger. So the genetics are the gun. We've all got the gun within us. Okay, so if you're Asian, you're going to be more so you're going to be predisposed to these kinds of conditions at lower BMIs compared to white Europeans. It's just fact. It is what it is. So that's why we've got to be even more aware of the environment, the conditions that we're putting our body under. And unfortunately, that is part of our culture. We eat, we drink, we socialize through food. And it's just something we need to be aware of a lot more. Pinder, I feel like the health theme is really coming up here. And again, transformation-wise, I'd love to hear your numbers. I don't even know if you remember that first 11 months.
I remember them quite clearly. I think when I started with you, I was about 112 kilograms and stuff. And I think at the lowest, after 11 months, we got it down to about 84 kilos.
Yeah, that was
so. It was quite crazy. What was that? 28 kilos, I think it was. So and I think waist-wise, 39 inches and stuff, and got it down to about 30 at the time and stuff. Packed on a bit of muscle at this.
Just a bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah.
Is his face frozen?
In terms of at the beginning journey and stuff, it was. Hello?
Yo,
You guys are frozen.
I got you, man. We got you. You frozen. We've not frozen. We'll come back to Apinda, man. Look, Api, you're back, man.
Hang on, I'm back.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello?
We got you.
You got me back, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the main thing at the beginning was just to sort out the cholesterol side of things as well and get the weight down. Because what actually made my mind spin and take drastic action was that the doctor said that, if I don't get my cholesterol down, he's going to put me on statins at the age of 39. Right? I thought to myself, my dad just started taking statins, yeah, and he was, dad was close to 70. I thought, all right, that kind of makes sense. But, me at 39, he goes, well, you're going to have to change something. You have to lose some weight. So, I think that was a turning point, a big turning point for me. And, I think along with that, it was just, having the ability to play with the kids as well. Because I realized, I couldn't even play with them in the garden without getting out of breath. I mean, forget that I couldn't, go up the stairs without getting out of breath. I got to a point where, I bend over to tie my shoelaces and my stomach was cramping up. Once I remember, I literally pain for about half an hour because I had this severe cramp. But yeah, I'm glad, we sorted that issue out first and stuff. And then gradually we built up, once we conquered that, we moved on to other things and stuff in terms of, physique side of things and, building muscle and stuff. And I think now I'm just looking for the next mountain, as to speak,
So, you know what? A really funny comment about your transformation I get all of the time is Apinda's genetics allow him to look the way he looks.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I hear that all the time. Apinda's got good genetics, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But those same genetics, you were 30 kilos out of weight.
Yeah.
You were about to be put on medication for your health.
Yeah.
But the same genetics took you to that other side.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard this about yourself too.
Yeah, but the same genetics made me wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and go to the gym, right? Yes. So and the same genetics, made me prep my meals and stuff. Made sure I get the food from the grocery shops and stuff as well. So it's all rubbish. It's if you really want something, it's all up here. You've got to change. The most important genetics is basically your mind, right? Once you sort that out, then nothing can stop you.
But there's always that thing that pulls you back off, right? So what I've noticed in most transformation journeys, guys, tell me if I'm wrong. Essentially, we know what to do, right? So we know what food is, healthy food is. Essentially, we know that we need to move more. We need to be more active. But right when you're at your worst point, so right when you're at your lowest point, where you've had all this weight on you, you're not feeling energetic, you're feeling stressed by work, life's taken over, the thing that stops you is these mindset blockers, right? It's not that you don't know what to do, it's the mindset blockers. I'm wondering, I'm going to put this out there, like what was that thing that got you over the line with these mindset blockers? Like Apinda, you were just talking about yours, right? You had this awareness of what you needed to do. You even tried it yourself for a while. So what was that thing that got you over the line?
See, I think like I said, the doctor side of things, that was a turning point for me. And then, I just wanted to be able to, grow up with my kids and stuff, without having that stress in my mind, about my own health. So I thought to myself, I need to look after myself first before I can look after my family. And what I found is that when I approached you, I thought, hang on, here's a guy who's done it. he's an Indian guy. He's probably going to give me some Indian roti diet or something, yeah, to help me along the way, right? And he understands, the Indian lifestyle, right? What goes in and out of an Indian household. So that was really important for me. And at the same time, I thought, hang on, when we're, for example, if you want a house built, you go to an architect, right? A professional to help you out. So I thought, okay, here's a professional in the health industry. If I follow exactly what he tells me to, hopefully I'm going to get results. And I was right. So, and that's what I try to explain to a lot of people. That, hang on, okay, Juggy's there. He's a professional. Ask him. He'll be able to guide you. But it's just that mindset. A lot of people have that. Oh, no, but we can get the knowledge ourselves from the internet and stuff. We can. We got all the plans are there and stuff. But it's not. There's so many factors that go into developing a nutrition plan, developing a suitable sort of lifestyle plan for an individual. I'm sure. It's with the questionnaires that you do and stuff, at the beginning, finding out exactly what the person does, what time they wake up, how long they sleep and stuff, their resting heart rate, blood glucose levels, the list goes on. All these factors, they play a big part of your transformation. And a lot of people don't understand that. Look at sleep, for example. A lot of people overlook sleep completely. And even I did as well, at the beginning. And now I know it's such a big factor. So I make sure that I go to sleep at more or less exactly the same time every night. And I get up at the same time in the morning as well.
So, you said something there, so we've created the whole system of 125 point check. So we do 125 points inputs before we create outputs now. And if you think about that, if you've got 125 points of your health going through your mind every single day, and you're not an expert and you don't know what to do with all this information, where are you going to end up? You're going to end up in that freeze, fight, or flight situation. So you're either going to ignore everything that's going on, you're going to run away from it, or you're going to try and fight it, but because it's too big, 125 things to think about is too big, you're just going to lose against that battle. You're going to lose that battle. So this is what we do. Like, we're going to get all this information from you guys. We're going to create 3 or 4 objectives for you to work towards, and they're going to be unique to you. The solution is for you as that individual. And I love that. But you know what? Going back to that question, and I think I mentioned this right at the start, Sim, that first month for you was the hardest. Like, that's where you had all those blocks, and we had to find solutions for it, man. And you were going to walk away. Like, let's be honest, that we had that. I think we had that call about 3 weeks in or 4 weeks in.
Yeah, I think I'd been ignoring a few messages, and it was like, "Where are you? What are you doing? What's going on? You're not updating this, not updating." And then suddenly, it was like a Monday afternoon. I'm getting a call from Juggy. I was like, "Shit, damn!" It's caught up with me. But I think it was just like socials, and then I think a lot of people can relate to this, where like you'll get to a Friday, you'll have a bad meal, you'll have a session, you wake up Saturday, eat another bad meal, then the Sunday will come, like, or Saturday night you'll have another one, and then it'll just be, okay, I'll start on Monday. Yeah, all right, okay, I'll start the next day. The next day. Did
you feel you would miss out? Is that why?
At that time, there was an actual social planned. I think it was my friend's engagement party, and like, I wanted to go, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I think it was about getting the mind to be like, okay, cool, you need to kind of get back on track now. But to try and get back on track it's easier said than done. And then obviously, thanks to the support, where I was just kind of like pulled back on track, and it was like, what are you doing? Sort it out. And I think from then we never really looked back. I mean, at that point, by the end of the weekend, I was like, do you know what? I'm not cut out for this. Like, I can't be asked this. We've done a few weeks, like, whatever, just call it quits. Maybe I'm just meant to be fat forever, like. And it was just like one of those things. And then, like, I think it was that support where it's just like, yeah, do you know what? Come back. Look, let's take it a step at a time. Let's do it this way. Let's change the approach a little bit. Let's, start bringing those socials into it. And then that's kind of what that was the biggest thing that changed for me. The fact that I could fit my socials and fit my, plans into my diet. And it wasn't just like, oh, right, you can't go out for 6 months, sit at home, just eat your 4 meals a day and train, and that's it. You can have your socials, you can do everything. You just have to integrate that within your lifestyle, which is your new plan.
But I give you a lot of credit for that, because that call could have gone in one or two ways. You could have been shut off. You could have just ignored the words that I was saying to you, because essentially we were on a phone call. It's not like I'm standing in front of you having this conversation. We're on a phone call. And I remember you actually just talking like openly and honestly on that call. And then that allowed me to be open and honest with you. But if you just held back and ignored, you could have just not answered that call, right? You could have just pressed end call. And that would have been the end of the journey. You wanted to.
Yeah, no, answer, shall I not? But I'm glad I did. Obviously, I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't.
Yeah, it's true. But again, you like a lot of people say it's the support, and I do believe that. I think everybody needs that level of support at some point in their journey, but then just acknowledge and appreciate that whole thing that you've achieved in this, that's within you. You've got that strength and power. And again, you've proved that to yourself within your business, within your career, within your work. Sometimes it's really difficult for us, when we're at our lowest point, to recognize that all of that power and strength is within us, and then transfer it to something else. But again, that's what we're here for, to show you, to shine that light on you guys. But bro, I'm so proud of you, man. It's like, I know we're not massively different in terms of like age ranges, man, but I'm so ridiculously proud of you. I'm really different from Apinda. Apinda's well old compared to me. I'm only kidding. Chaz, how about you, bro? Like, again, you know what? This is interesting. Apinda waited like 3 months before coming back to me. You waited 4 years.
It wasn't that long. It was a couple of years. It was a couple of years. But it's I got in touch with you a couple of years before I did start a plan with you. But circumstances at that time sort of took me away from that.
Yeah.
And then I just carried on doing what I was doing. And again, by all accounts, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't great. But yeah, I did then started slipping backwards. But then that was also because of a lot of stuff going on in my life. I was just on a downward spiral type of thing, and it takes a lot of. I had to sort of sit back and do some reflection, like go into some self-awareness and really identify what is going on, what impact is this having if I continue like this, where else is it going to have an impact in my life? So to your point, like, what is it that got you over the line, got me over the line? It was, you have to find that North Star. Just saying you want to lose weight because you want to feel better is not enough. You have to really dig deep and like have some harsh conversations with yourself. And like for me, it was I had to go back and look at all the things that are important in my life and prioritize them. Right? These are all important in my life, and this is why they're important. And then for me, health was at the top of that. It was, and I said this to you at the start, I said it to you throughout, and I still say it to this day. It's the pillar for everything, the cornerstone for everything. If that collapses, so does everything else. It's literally as simple as that. I think Opie said that as well. Like that is, top of the stack type of thing. So fine, I've got my my top priority of health. I know that's why I want to do it, and that's what kept me aligned and on track. So when I felt as though I wanted to kind of like I didn't feel I wanted to give up, but you do go into that cycle of like, I feel a bit comfortable in this, and now perhaps I was having a day where I wasn't pushing myself hard enough, or I was kind of falling a little bit backwards throughout this journey as well, because it was never perfect. I was able to align myself back on my why, right? And I still keep going back to it. Your why is your biggest thing that will keep you going. And that doesn't mean to say you need to be going 100 miles throughout. It allows you to stay to your goals consistently. And when you do have like socials and stuff that comes up, you know how to better manage those, because you can go back to your why. And I think like Simran, to your point, you were saying that you had a social coming up, you wanted to enjoy it, and you've had that one bad day and you think, well, I've had it now, that's it, all done type of thing. I used to be similar. So, wedding would come up, I'd be like, I don't want to miss out on this, it'll be rude to say no. And, you know, what are they going to think of me? They're going to take the piss if I'm not drinking or whatever else. And then that one day turns into the whole week. That week turns into a month. That month is then turned into, like, before you realize it, I'll wait until Christmas now and I'll start in the new year type of thing. Whereas, you know, over the last year, okay, we've been in lockdown, but there's still been socials, there's still been events. You learn how to manage those and negotiate around them.
Even lockdown could have been a block, because I actually know that people left the coaching journey because lockdown happened, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to train now. Honestly, that was the thought in a lot of people's mind. Oh, the gym's closed, so I can't train now, so I can't do anything with the program. But all of you guys continued through lockdown.
Yeah,
I'm interested in that, man, because Chaz, it's not like you had a billion piece of equipment that we could turn to.
no.
How do we adapt? How do we work on that?
Acquired a few things like resistance bands. Managed to, like, at the end of lockdown, get hold of some like weights to help me along the way. Then I even managed to hire some from the gym, but the majority of it was just using a mat, some resistance bands, and just some, like, you know, ingenuity, right? Like, how can I leverage something? How can I put something to a door and pull it towards me type of thing? How can I, you know, do something that will keep my heart rate up, or it's just using what's around you. And those resistance bands will humble a person. When used right, they will humble a person.
Yeah.
So yeah, you use what's around you. And that aside, it was just generally staying active, keeping those steps in. I hear a lot that I can't get the steps in and all the rest of it. I understand. Everyone has busy lives. Some people have children. Other people aren't able to get away from their desks. But you can get it in ways. So you can walk around the house. You can get on your phone when you're on a call. You can say, you know, I've put into my diary like blockers. So I will take a lunch at a certain time and use that time to have my lunch and then go for a walk. I'll always go for a walk beforehand. It's like Bobby said, I could easily have woken up like 8:30, rolled out of bed and logged on, but no, set myself a bit of a routine, wake up at 7, a little bit early if I can, snooze a couple of times, get up out of bed and then go for a walk, get some steps in. Even if it is only 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes more than doing nothing.
But this comes back to being solution focused, right? Because lockdown could easily have been the end of your journey, Chaz. You could have been that guy that said, actually, no, I haven't got any dumbbells at home, so what am I going to do now? Just may as well just quit because I can't do it perfectly. I think there's that perfection mindset that a lot of people had at that point. But I'm not going to be able to smash a gym session perfectly. So what's the point?
Yeah,
I'm interested. Like we all come up against these challenges, and I know that some people that I've spoken to have actually been not even had the support at home sometimes. So look, when you want to invest in yourself, when you want to invest in your health and your well-being, what kind of conversations come up? Because I think, Apinda, you alluded to it earlier. People want to Google it. Don't do that. Google it. You should be able to do it yourself. You should be able to look after your own health. Have you ever had that sort of conversation or thing come up?
What it is, a lot of people say, you know, the internet is a great tool and it has everything on there, but the internet always has a wealth of resources, but everybody has. There's always two sides. It always depends on what the outcome is of the study. You know, you'll get something that will say, do this and this will happen, but you get the opposite story from somebody else. And it's just sometimes the information can just be too much and too overwhelming for you to even understand. So I've been at a stage where, personally, before I joined yourself, I was researching it myself, but I just wasn't making any progress because one person was saying, you know, for hypertrophy, do this. Another person was saying, do this. And it was just getting me down and I was getting nowhere. And that's when you realize, you know what, you need to go to an expert, really. You want to invest in yourself. Sometimes you've got to be selfish. Obviously, there's other things. There's opportunity costs everywhere. You know, you could spend your money elsewhere. You can spend your time elsewhere. But what's the point wasting your time, overwhelming with information that you don't understand and can't really make sense of, and you're not in the right mind state? Invest in a professional and create your journey and be selfish for your own reasons.
Selfish is a big word, man. Has anyone else felt that, like, during this journey, or even had that discussion with somebody about that selfishness of looking after yourself?
I don't know if it's selfishness, but it's putting yourself first. I think some people might feel guilty that they're putting themselves before everyone else, whereas in fact, putting yourself first, improving your own quality of life, has a benefit to those around you. They pick up on your habits, but you're able to give more in terms of energy, even if they don't, type of thing.
100%. But the people around you, if they don't realize and give you the support straight away, they, in their eyes, they'll say, you know what, you're just being selfish, or you can really stick out at it. You know, we could have done this as a family, but then over the longer periods of time, then if somebody, what I'm trying to say, if somebody doesn't buy into it straight away, over a long period of time, they'll realize, and then they'll see the whole benefit.
Look, I felt it. So when I first ever made like the biggest chunk of investment into myself, my thoughts were I could be using that money and put it into Jacob's savings account. Like that could be a saving, or that could be a property that we buy, or whatever it might be. Like that was my thought process towards actually investing in myself. And I needed Jussie to push me over the line and say, Juggy, you actually can't carry on doing what you're doing right now. Like you're miserable. And that was a big conversation. I remember, look, I'm going to be open. I don't really care about what people say about me, and I don't care about judgments and stuff like that. It's just part of who I am now, because hopefully I've evolved and grown. But I remember sitting there on the sofa crying and not knowing why I was crying. I just felt desperately unhappy. I was so unhappy, but I couldn't put my finger on what was going on. Just as like you're in the career that you love, but you're doing it in the wrong way. You're going about it every single day the wrong way. That's not who you are. Yeah. And I just sat there thinking, well, what's the option? Like, what is the option? I've just got to carry on. I've got to plow through it. I've just got to keep going. Then this guy came to me and said, look, in fact, I'd known him for a good few years. I really looked up to him. And he said, look, I'm running this now, and I can support you and I can help you get out of this. And then I was like, I believed it. I fully believed it. I was like, this is the thing that I need to get into. And then there was that one little nagging doubt. I can't spend money on myself. Like, I can't spend however much it was on that course on myself. Like, honestly, and even at that time, I'm really opening up now, but I don't think I had that amount of money in my bank account. So I had to actually go and ask my dad for a loan to actually cover that. But I swear to God, I've not looked back on that since. I needed Jussie to push me over the edge, but I've not had to look back on that decision ever since. I wouldn't be doing this chat with you guys today if it wasn't for that choice.
That's what it is. Everybody has that choice. When I had the first call with you before Christmas, I was really down, to the point where I rang you. I didn't even book a call. I just rang you. I messaged you saying, are you free? I need to speak to you because I'm at the lowest of the lowest I can be. And even that, after I finished speaking to you, I felt better, but I had to then reassure and speak to Pam and speak to my wife and say, you know what? This is the journey. This is where I want to go. But do you think it's the right choice? Obviously, we just had the child then as well. And I was like, really, financially, again, I could be saving for Rutland, putting it. But the thing is, your health is your wealth at the end of the day. If you're healthier, you're going to be able to be more effective and efficient in the long run for your children.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And you're never gonna get everyone's buy-in, and that's fine. Not everyone is gonna see your vision, right? As silly as it sounds, like when you look at all of these greats back in the day, Steve Jobs and all the rest of it, nobody knew their vision. No one could buy into it, type of thing. And it's the same thing with you. Like, no one is ever gonna buy into your thing. You just kind of have to keep persevering and going. And Juggy, that outside of this, I've been working on my own developments, and I've been sort of, I'm kind of going down the path of changing my career, the industry that I'm working in, doing a complete U-turn. And it's a risk, but I've now got the confidence to go and do it because I've built that up throughout this journey. But it's knowing that not everyone's going to understand my vision, and I don't need them to. I just need to focus on myself, and that's it. I know what's right for me, and in the same way that you said, everything inside me knows this feels right.
Yeah, but this is what we didn't really touch on before, but I think it's just naturally coming out. Like, you guys have lost all that weight, you've improved your health, measurements are completely different. Where's that showed up in your life? There's a couple of times that you've talked about, the little ones, being able to be more active with them. Sim, how has it helped you, man? Have you seen it in your career? Have you seen it at work? Is there a confidence element to that or not?
Focus, I think. I feel like when you're a bit more active, like training in the mornings, for example, like that for me was like the biggest game changer. Like that was crazy shift, because it was always, you get to the evening, you'd be tired, but training in the morning, getting out of the way, you're energetic for the whole day. You can channel that energy into your work. You can channel that energy into other avenues of life. And you don't realize that until you start doing it. I mean, yeah, the first week, probably not. It's a bit hard, that adjustment. But once you get into the flow of things, like that energy that you've got, it sounds weird. You're like, right, I've woken up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, done a full session, and then suddenly I'm going to be more energetic. But yes, that's how it works. It just is. And you just are. And like, I would come into the office, like, so I think one of my colleagues mentioned it. She'd be like, you know, you're so much more active and so much more energetic, and like it has a knock-on effect to people around you. They can see that. And, you know, I think that is something that you don't even realize when you're doing this. You're thinking, okay, cool, I'm going to lose a bit of weight, do this, do that. But it's the other things that you don't realize until later on in the journey. And you're like, wow, you're looking at it like, shit, okay, you know, this is quite good, you know.
He gets to the gym earlier than me now. he's there on the Stairmaster before me. Oh, bloody hell, man. Get off that thing now.
What time do you guys go in the morning?
I'm normally there about 6:30. I think Opie gets there about, well, 7.
7. So got to walk the dog as well, isn't it? So
Oh, that's the excuse coming out now.
yeah, that's it. got to get the steps in.
No, Avinda, you know, I remember that chat that we had when we were like, you were saying, well, when am I going to train? Like, when am I going to space my day out? And I think that first conversation where I was like, well, you've got 3 hours in the morning where you're doing nothing but lying.
Yeah. Because I remember you said, all right, so okay, you can't train in the evening, like you're a family guy, you got your kids and stuff. What time do you get up? I go like 8:30. You go, bloody hell. Why can't you get up at 6:30 or 6 o'clock? And I was like, well, I don't know. I've never had to, and so I think that was a big game changer when you said, look, just try it, give it a week and stuff. You change your routine, and like Simran just said, I think that's the ultimate game changer. Getting up, getting it out of the way, then just focusing. And actually it helps you make good choices during the day as well, because you've done that hard work in the morning. So in terms of your food choices, you're going to think, twice. You're going to think, okay, I've done all that hard work. I better make sure that I prep my meals and I eat healthy during the day as well. And again, energy levels are always sky high through there. You're more focused, you're more alert, you're more aware of things going on. Whereas, before I was literally, I wasn't even training and I was just so lethargic, at work and stuff. I used to even take naps upstairs. I like, to my cousin, I like, you hold the fort, I'm going to have a little quick nap upstairs, I wasn't even training at that time, but it just goes to show, what, other aspects you can look forward to if you, start this journey. And again, someone's thinking to, it also gives you more confidence in doing other things. If you're exploring, like Chaz just mentioned earlier, he's exploring other avenues in his career and stuff as well. I mean, it just gives you that confidence knowing that, hang on, I've conquered this amazing feat, I can do other things, I can do another business, I can change careers. So, the sky's the limit. So it's not just about health, which is obviously the most important thing, in your life. It will, stem down to other things as well. We think, hang on, I can do this, and there's a lot of benefits to be had, just put it this way.
I think what you said there again about that efficiency, that productivity that comes with it, the confidence that comes with it. I know from our talks in this journey, I've seen you overcome obstacles that would have probably floored you before, like the amount of stresses that you're under, but you took control of it. And again, I'll let you tell your story, man. I'm just about to start sharing everything.
It's just obviously when I joined, I was midway through my exams. Obviously that was timing down. Then just being a newly father as well, that in itself is a challenge and has loads of responsibilities. And I wasn't enjoying my career as well. So that's when I really got in touch with Shilpa and started talking about that side of my life. And it got me confident. It got me confident to say, you know what, you've been there for 3.5 years. It's time for a change. And I think without this journey, I would have, and the support I've gained, I wouldn't have got this confidence that I have about me now. And even now, I was just speaking to you earlier, you know, I'm looking at the next steps of my career. And even after I finish this qualification, I'm looking at what can I do next to progress? Because it's just that mindset. My mind's always, it's active now. And it's just like, how could I make myself a better version?
Yeah.
And I think that is key.
But it's that resilience, I feel. So I kind of explain stress as like this is a shaker full of nothing, right? But then the moment you wake up in the morning, you add stress to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the moment you wake up in the morning, the alarm goes off, you've got shit to do, you've got the kids to get ready and all that sort of stuff. Okay, then you've got to go to work, then you see your emails, then you see the workload piling up, then you, I don't know, I was about to say have an argument with the missus, but I'm not going to say that. I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
She's watching.
Then you have a discussion with the missus about holidays or whatever, but eventually this starts to come up, yeah? Eventually this starts spilling out everywhere. Yeah. And when it starts spilling out everywhere, we're overwhelmed, we're anxious, we're stressed, we're looking at all the ways that we're going to be impacted negatively that day. So that clouds our ability to see opportunities. It clouds our ability to see the doors that are available for us to go and open. It's spilling out everywhere. We're getting ill. We're getting run down. We need to build a bigger shaker. Yeah, we need to build a reservoir for all this stress. And that's what I feel that this journey gave you, man.
It's crazy. When I first started, I couldn't even handle a little bit of stress, honestly. Like, I could get symptoms of, like, you know, my sweaty palms and just feeling anxious, my legs twitching, and just speak to Shilpa and realizing, you know what, actually, these are symptoms for this. I never even thought about it. I thought, you know what, it's just something natural that's just happening to me. And when she's saying, no, you know what, this is the signs, this is the way we can actually develop you and actually change you. And to this day, that they will always be a part of me, you know.
Yeah, I think as well, like we feel stress, but we're really good as guys. I'm just going to say it, as guys, we're really good at pushing that down and ignoring the hell out of it. But then that's why we start to see the rest of the heart rate shoot up, because internally we're stressed. That's why we start to see the cells shutting off. And when the cells shut off, what happens? We start to see an increase in HbA1c. The levels start to go up. The cholesterol starts to go up. So all of these stresses that are going on in here, unless we deal with it and funnel it and manage it, it goes internal. And then that's where the problems lie long term, right? And guys, I just feel like, I mean, we could probably talk all night. And you get that feeling right now. I feel like we need to do part 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to do a whole series of this, right? Yeah. But the thing is, we've established so many areas that your health and your well-being underpins success. It underpins you guys reaching your highest potential. And we haven't gone into the ins and outs. I don't think that's the time to do that today. I don't think this is the place to do that today. I mean, every journey that we've undergone here has been so ridiculously unique. We'd probably be here for a good couple of hours just talking about what we did during the process. But I'm just wondering, I guess almost like parting words, is there anything specific that you guys would say to people that are listening in today? Is there that one thing that you would say to them to say, this is how to go and get success. This is how to go and take yourself to the next level. This is how to improve your health. This is where to start from. Is there anything that you would just say, this is the one thing to start with?
From my point of view, I'd be like, I've always been like an overthinker and wanted to start like when the conditions are perfect. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just start, take slow, gradual steps, build it up, and don't be too hard on yourself when it doesn't go right. Like, you know, it's okay to fall off the wagon, but it's just as fine to jump back on the wagon and continue going. Just literally be consistent. That's what I would say.
Amazing, Chaz. Thank you so much for that. Should I start picking on you guys because you all started looking down?
Well, I agree with Chaz as well. I mean, start the journey. You know, you're going to have hurdles, right? You're going to have days where, you know, you think, hang on, you're going to feel like giving up and stuff. But, you know, it's a matter of, every journey is going to be a matter of taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? That's how things are going to be. But that's still progress at the end of the day. As long as you're making even small amounts of progress per day, yeah, that's what it means. Even if it means you know, getting those 4 liters of water in, that's progress. You know, you taking, you know, 10 minutes to meditate, that's progress as well. So, you know, just, build it up, like Chaz said, and before you know it, you would have gone to such a point where you won't want to look back. It's yeah. So
that stepwise approach and acknowledge every single success. I think that's so valuable, man. And it does go over. It's overlooked massively because everyone keeps looking at this mountain and thinking, I haven't achieved that peak yet, and they forget all the small steps that they've got to take to get there. I think that's really powerful, man. Sorry, did I interrupt anyone there?
Yeah, I was going to say, you need to basically have you need to ask yourself the question of why, and you need to have a fundamental goal that you'll be able to always relate to, because you know what, you're never going to be perfect and going upwards every day. And you just need to have a moment where you can say, well, this is my goal, this is why I want to do it. And that will always, no matter how successful you are in your journey, no matter where you want to go, it will always push you and motivate you. And that's what you need. And don't be afraid. There's people out there to support you. Just don't be afraid. Ask the questions. I used to be nervous, to ask people. But one thing I've realized is, you know what, if the person's there, ask them what's the worst they're going to do. They might turn you down, but you never know. They might offer you, a helping hand. Yeah. And obviously, I've received that helping hand from many people. And I can just say, you know what, guys, don't be afraid. Just reach out to people.
Oh, 100%. I really love that, man. I think being open, I think asking questions makes us vulnerable. I think we're taught not to be vulnerable as
babies. You know what? You look at babies. Obviously, when I had my first child, I was looking at him whenever he wanted to take his steps, he'd drop down and he'll keep going. And that's what made me realize that, you know what? Just keep going at it, man. Yeah. You're a baby at this. You're a novice at this. Keep going.
I love that analogy, man, because we wouldn't shout at our kids for not getting up right, for not getting up to walk and walk properly straight away. We wouldn't shout at our kids to do that, but we do it to ourselves. That negative self-talk is crazy. But Sim.
I was going to say that consistency, I think, has been the key for like everything. Just keep nailing it every day. Keep hitting it. Keep hitting those daily targets. Don't overwhelm yourself and think, oh no, do you know what? I'm looking at the long term. I've got to hit this much in this week, or I've got to do this many sessions. Just hit your daily targets every day. That's it. You've done one thing, two things, three things. Get to the end of the day. Keep consistent. Do it the next day. But I was going to say a point that we mentioned earlier, which was about comparing yourself, because I feel like that is a big thing. Like when you're on your journey, about to start your journey, like you start comparing yourself to other people. You start looking at somebody. You see this person in the gym and they're a mountain, OP, and you start comparing yourself to people, and it's like I feel like that is very dangerous, because then you can't. It just like it's in your mind and you can't get past it, and it's unfair on yourself. It's going to hinder your progress, because you're like, well, why can't I do that, or why can't I go and run 13 miles without stopping, or just little things. Like you can't compare yourself to other people. You've got to do your own unique journey.
I didn't even consider that, because even though we did our first podcast recording on comparison, like that is a really, really important one. Like a comparison, because that will stop you still. Like you will see that you're not where that person is. But then we don't take into account all the individual factors that go into a journey of why that person got to where they got in 8 weeks or 12 weeks. We don't know what approach they used. We don't know whether they're only eating 600 calories a day and training 3 times a day. And we know that wouldn't work for us, because we've got careers and businesses and people to think about. And I think that's really, really powerful, man.
What I wanted to just say is, if one plan fitted all, then you know what, nobody would have an issue and everything would work. But obviously, it's in life, it's not like that. Everybody has their own hurdles. Everybody has their own struggles. It's unique. But as long as you're making progress, just always remember where you were and where you are today. And you don't want to be 6 months looking down at the line and saying, you know what, I could have progressed if I'd done that. That's the big thing, I think.
Just everyone intimate and fast, right? But do you know what? I really want to ask this, because I know we were talking about it earlier. I don't know if you guys heard these funny things about yourself. I mentioned it about Apinder. Apinder's got the best genetics in the world, apparently. That's why he looks the way he looks at 44. That's why he trains the way he trains at 44. I've heard other things about you, Apinder. You don't need to worry so much. You've got somebody else doing your cooking, right? So you don't need to worry. It's easy for you. What are the other things that you guys have heard about yourself? Like, or should I tell you some funny things that I've heard about you guys?
Obviously, one of my own, somebody close to me, a family member said to me, oh, you know what, the picture that Juggy used is stretched. I had to send him my original one. I said, mate, here's the original picture.
What, I've stretched it wider. Oh wow. Okay.
He stretched it. I was like, look, this. Don't lie, man. Do you know what I mean? The stats don't lie. This is pictures and stuff. But
you had to justify that was
I had to justify it. But then I thought to myself, you know what? Is what it is, man. You can't please everyone.
Maybe I should have stretched that original one. Has anyone else heard some funny shit? I think, Sim, I've got a good one for you, but you tell me.
No, go on. I'm intrigued. What is it?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it earlier, to be fair, man. You've got time. You're young. It doesn't matter for you. It's easy for you, right?
That's it. But that was, I think Opie mentioned that as well, about that you got more time in your day. Or because, like, say I'm self-employed. Oh, yeah, you can go to the gym when you want. You can go and do 11 a.m. sessions. It doesn't work like that. I still structure my day the same as everybody else. You know, I still have a start time and a finish time. Why would I go to the gym at 6 to 8 in the morning if I didn't have stuff to do? But you're always going to get people saying these sort of things, but, you know, just whatever, it just goes on one out.
The thing is, you always get people, like, you know, saying things because it kind of, in a way, I found that it makes them feel better about themselves because, you know, they've set limitations about themselves in their mind and they want to plaster that onto you as well, right? So one important thing which I just want to add to you know, what I said earlier is environment and your groups, your circle of friends.
Yeah,
it's key, right? Because you will become basically what you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Right. And if you've got people who are gonna, you know, sit around and eat kebabs and go to a pub and stuff, then, you know, there's no way out, right? You got to take a back step. You know, you got to see yourself from, you know, what do you call it?
Bird's eye view,
like a drone view almost, right? And see and think, hang on, this is not good, right? And take a step back and do the right thing and change that environment, change it.
Oh, we've talked about it a few times, man. I think that's unbelievably powerful.
Yeah.
There's something that I'm going to add on the back of that. But Chaz, I want to hear if you've heard any funny things about you, man.
Surprisingly, no. I haven't. I haven't. But maybe that's because I've always come across as quite genuine, and I think authentic to everyone. I think everyone, like, you know, I've been quite open with my story as well. And allowed people to come in and, like, explore, right? I guess maybe the only thing might be just you know, lockdown made it easier. If anything, it wasn't as easy, you know, because you're confined. Like, there's a limit, everything is within easy reach. And, like, I could have easily thrown in, you know, the towel or sort of given up when I didn't want to do anything and just lazed around. Like I said, I could have easily, like, got out of bed at like half 8, rolled straight into work and whatever else. It was about structuring my day, like Sim said. Now, some may say it's a bit regimented. It's not. What you're doing is you're prioritizing your day to be the best version of you. That's all you're doing, and that includes scheduling time in for your family and for whatever you want to enjoy doing. So if you enjoy watching television, movies, whatever it might be, schedule it in, just make some time for it. And, like, you know, again, not everything goes to plan, but
it takes the guilt away from it, because you know you want to watch that film or you want to watch that TV or whatever, but you schedule it in and it's half an hour. If you don't schedule it, it becomes an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then suddenly you know why you're waking up at 8:30 in the morning instead of 6:30. And bro, to be honest, man, the lockdown, when your missus is baking cakes the way she bakes them, what's the Instagram page? Is it Cakes by Sonia?
Yeah, Cakes by Sonia. Yeah.
Has anyone seen these Cakes by Sonia? Ridiculous, incredible cakes, and then got them in his kitchen every day.
When we first met, right, we always say, like, what was the reason why why are we together? Is that because we both love cakes. But you know, I said to her, look, if you're making these cakes, that's fine. You know, as long as they're going somewhere, don't mind. Obviously, you have to do a bit of quality control on it, right? Have to sample a bit. Obviously, it'd be rude not to. But that aside, again, because you've got a North Star, you know your why, you can kind of control yourself a little bit better. And this is a conversation I've had with loads of people. They're like, oh, because of lockdown, you've been really strict. No, I've actually not deprived myself of anything. You know, I've been having what I want. I'm just mindful of how I fit it in.
Yeah, 100%. And you have, man, you've had a lot of challenges during lockdown and you've overcome every single one of them. Yeah, closing. I was going to share the one about me, like, because this is my job, right? So this is my job. So I can make training easy, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, and all that sort of stuff. I don't think people realize I train 3 times a week and I go for 2 runs. That's it. Go 2 runs. The runs are about 20 to 25 minutes. Like, my goal right now isn't to be 100 kilo shredded. That's not my goal. My goal is to be able to live my life, have that longevity factor, be able to take the kids to football practice, play with them in the garden. My goal is just literally be in the best condition I can be for as long as I can be in this condition. I think people have got to just change that narrative about what you need to do to achieve success. It's got to work in your life. I get up at 5 o'clock every day. So if I've had bad night's sleep or a good night's sleep, I get up at 5 o'clock because that's when my day starts. The first 2 hours of my day, I give back to myself. If I don't give back to myself, that impacts everything else I do that day. If I didn't get up at 5 a.m. this morning, get my running done, get my reading done, and get some education done, I don't think I'd be on this level of energy that I've got right now. I don't think I'd be able to pull myself all the way through the day. It's been a tough day today. There's been a lot of quite in-depth calls that I've had with people, and it should have taken a lot of energy. I probably shouldn't have this level of drive right now, but I have. And I think that's really, really important to remember. Like, figure out your pockets of time that are going to drive you forwards and make sure that you make the most of them. Get so clear on what you've got to do with that time frame that you've got and just run with it. But anyway, guys, I think, again, like I said, we could probably talk all night. We'll probably cut it there today. And then if you guys are happy to do so, we'd love to get you back on and we'll do another conversation. Hopefully have a few more questions come through. By the way, just want to shout out Manjeet, who said hello. Haj, who's also been watching, said hello. Priya, who said, you guys are an inspiration as always. Steve, who said, wow. I'm not 100% sure what the wow was in relation to. I'm guessing it was all the success that you've achieved. Sonny said, sorry, I'm late. And Taryn just saying that, look, this is a really valid point. Being selfish in the short term to be selfless in the long term. I think that's a really valid point. But guys, thank you very much. Anything else that you'd like to add, or should we just shut that down there?
Reach out if anybody wants to get to know more about my journey or anyone else's.
Chaz has offered that quite a lot, actually. So if anybody does want to just reach out, I know you guys have all had these opportunities where you've actually spoken to people and discussed your journeys before they've actually joined the coaching team or coaching with us. So Chaz, I really appreciate that offer. Much appreciated. There's a few more messages coming through. Thank you guys. That was amazing. From Steve again, and Manjit saying thanks, guys. Look, really appreciate everybody watching this evening. And let's do this again. I've actually got another thought in my mind, but I'll save it for next time.
Oh, leaving the carrot dangling, eh?
All right. Thank you.